Okay, boys and girls, so you have a plastic mat on your table. This is a messy mat. This will keep the stuff from getting all over the table. We can just wipe this up and it'll stay clean. So you each have a container, and in this container is everything that you need for today. So the first thing that we are going to do once we get our containers is we're going to carefully take everything out of this container. So I'm going to take the stuff out. I'm going to take this container and I'm going to put it on the floor next to me. So now I have my small little area that I'm going to work in. Am I going to touch someone else's stuff? No, because we need to keep our hands to ourselves, our stuff to ourselves. Now, we have a small container that holds a magical substance that will help to stick our clay together, because we are going to be making some fun little things. First things first, when you get your piece of clay out, you're going to pull not half. Notice this piece is smaller than this piece, so a small piece off. Put that off to the side. Take your other larger piece of clay and you can roll it with your hands, or put one hand down and roll directly on the actual plastic. So what you're doing is just rounding out the edges. You are not trying to make a perfect ball. You are just rounding off the edges. We are going to be first starting to make a pinch pot. Most of you know how to do this, not everybody, but most. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our thumb, give it a thumbs up like it's the greatest thing ever, and we are going to push our thumb in. When you let go of the clay with the other hand, it's going to stick on top of your thumb. So we're going to do that now. After that is done, wiggle your thumb out. Mine was kind of stuck there, and we have a hole in our piece of clay. We are going to pinch or squeeze, press our clay all the way around using our thumb and 2 fingers to start with. So the 2 fingers closest to the thumb, kind of looks like it's talking. This thumb, I'm not shoving it all the way into the hole, I'm just putting it there just a little bit. I'm going to take these 2 fingers and I'm going to push. See, I've got fingerprints. So I'm going to do this all the way around. Notice it is a bigger hole now because I pinched it. Did I pinch it so hard that I tore the clay? No, but I pinched it hard enough where I pressed the clay and made this hole bigger. Now I'm going to take this hand and this hand, and we're going to be pinching or pressing, pushing on the clay. Thumbs, they will go inside of the hole. If you're not careful, you will drop it just like I just did. Your fingers will wrap all the way around. Now, instead of just using these 2 additional fingers, we're going to use all 8 of our fingers, and our 2 thumbs will be inside the hole. So thumbs inside the hole, pressing fingers. Notice that each time I press on it, I am going to be turning it. Fingers do reach all the way to the very bottom of the bowl, and it keeps going all the way around. It is not getting pushed onto this mat. And the reason we do not want to push it onto the mat is we are not trying to make a pretty little pinch bowl. It's torn, no big deal, doesn't matter, because that will help us in the end. Once you get your pinch pot all the way stretched out, and it feels when you put your hand and feel all the way around, all that clay feels about the same thickness, so how wide the side of it is. Now what we are going to be doing is turning this into a pinch pot, little wide mouth or big mouth, a monster. So really fun. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to gently press it down. Notice it did not get squished all the way completely flat. So I am not going like this. He doesn't have a closed mouth. He's going to have his mouth open. This is now going to go to the side. So instead of thinking of it like a bowl, like this, where things can be, it's going to lay on its side. I am going to push it down like this. So this now is the mouth of my pot, or a monster as I am referring to it. And I can change the shape of it, so I can make it bend in. I could change. Now if you look at it, it looks very different than it did before. So I've got the main part of my big mouth monster kind of set up. So I'm going to set that off to the side. I'm going to grab that little bit of extra clay. These I'm going to pull off however many pieces I want to use for teeth. So notice I'm going to do 4 teeth. I also need to make sure I have enough to do 2 eyes is what I'm doing, but you might want to do 1 eye or 2 eyes or 3 or 4. However many you might have extra clay for. So I know I want 2 eyes, and that looks about the same size. So I'm going to put those eye pieces off to the side, and I've got the things for my actual mouth here. So these are going to be the teeth. Monsters are not always scary and angry. All right, sometimes monsters are silly. So I'm going to take and kind of push this clay into whatever shape teeth I want it to look like. So I'm kind of just pushing and pressing, and I like kind of the way this looks. I'm going to do a square here, and I'm just using my fingers. I can tap it on all sides. And you know what? I think I'm going to stick with 3 teeth and not use this. I might use this for something else. I'm going to set it off to the side. So now that I've got kind of this made, I've got to make a plan how I want these teeth to look. So when I'm putting them in, I am making decisions, and they will sit there for just a minute or 2. Ooh, I like the way those teeth look. Like that. I might do another one off to the side up here. Oh, that is very cool looking, but I don't think I like that one as much. I might actually only like to have 1 tooth. And as I am doing this, I'm realizing, you know what, these teeth look pretty big. I don't want them to be that big. So I'm just going to tear off some, not all, some of my actual clay. I might, now that I've made them a little smaller, change it and do it a different way. So I like the different sizes. Ooh, that's so much better. Okay, so happy about that. That is where some playing around with it is very important. Okay, not everything is going to be exactly the way you want it right at first. So, ooh yeah, liking that. Now comes the pencil that was in your container. What we use the pencil for, we actually use it to do something called scoring and slipping. So score means you're going to mark and make lines going 2 directions. Notice I am not pressing so hard that I go through the clay. It didn't come through the bottom. So it's just making the marks that are there. This little container of magic sticky stuff goes on the clay itself. Then I'm going to support it, and I'm going to take my tooth and I'm going to wiggle and stick those 2 things. Ooh, look at the shape of that. That is awesome. So those 2 things together. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to put my other teeth. All right, so I have gotten my teeth done. I am now going to work on the eyes. So I'm going to take these 2 pieces, and it's a monster. So here's the really amazing thing is it doesn't have to be exactly round teeth. It could, or round teeth, I mean round eyes. So excited. I'm so excited to use clay again. So I can use this tool not just to get the clay to stick together, but I can use it to add details too. So I might push my pencil in and roll it around a little bit, and you can see now it's got a pupil on there. Again, the great thing about clay is there is no right or wrong. Ooh, I like those eyes. I think I want this to be a little bit bigger. That looks good to me. So I'm gonna kind of test it out. Putting some eyes here and there, and look at my monster! There it is. I really do like that. Kind of has a frog vibe going. I'm digging it. Or I should say I'm hopping it. I'm going to take this, put my finger back for support, and I'm going to kind of push it together. Notice that my pupil kind of squished. If that happens to you, just take it and work its way back out. Oh, these are so cool. Okay, so I'm going to do this one. Get the little bit of water I need. Put it on there. Squishy, squishy, squishy. Ooh, squishy, squishy, squishy. And you gotta really make sure it sticks. Clay is sticky until it dries. Once it dries, it will just fall apart. The great thing about these monsters is they can be kind of messy. Ooh, 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 idea. And there is no real super right or wrong. I think I'm gonna give him some spikes. I might give him some other stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna work on mine for just a little while. All right, so I have kind of started a horn here on mine, and I've got one started on the other side. Some things as you are sticking them on that you need to remember. You do not want to make pieces that are really, really, really super flat like this. That is too thin and they will break right off when they get dry. I know it looks cool when it is wet, but it will not stay like that and they will tear right off and break. The other thing that you need to think about is when you do your scoring both directions and you put your little magic glue on and your finger goes back, when you push this on, you need to make sure you kind of smooth an edge out. You can use your pencil to kind of push that together, because if you don't do that, then it can have a tendency to fall apart once it actually dries. When you are totally done with this, like I've got an extra piece of clay, it don't matter, it's just going to stay there and we will have a spot for extra clay to go in the classroom. You will come over to me, the fabulous Miss Lopez, and I will be putting stamps on your pieces of clay. So like my initials are BL. So I have little stamps that have those actual letters on there, and I will be going through and doing that stamping for you. So that is what we're going to be doing today, is creating some big mouth monsters, which are a cool little fun project. I cannot wait